Hey, so I chose as my activity to demonstrate how to light and maintain a fire. So you start out with some smaller stuff and some fire starter. I'm going to use newspaper because it's convenient and easy. And we're going to start a little fire in the sauna here. Let's see what I can get in position. So, got to make sure that if you're going to be stocking a stove like this, that there's enough room for oxygen to get through, as oxygen is one of the three main elements of fire. You got your fuel, which is your wood. You got heat, which is going to be coming from the matches when I use them. And you got oxygen, which the three of them fuel the fire. So, get enough in there that it's going to stay burning for a bit. I just want to get the sauna nice and toasty. You crumple up the paper. Same thing, just so there's a little bit more oxygen between it when you light it. Get that in there. Now, starting fires, it teaches you a few things. Of course, it's one of the main ways to survive and is essential in pretty well any outdoor living. It's how you're going to cook your food. It gives you heat and it gives you light. It also teaches you patience, as sometimes it takes a little bit to get the fire going, but it's a big reward when you finally do. Oh, there. Matches are a little wet. There we go. And once you get it started, remember the fire triangle. Easy way to remember it. Your heat, your oxygen, and your fuel. Now, once it gets going, you just keep an eye on it, make sure it doesn't go out on you. And just like life, if you're not maintaining it and you're not adding to it, it'll eventually get cold. And you'll eventually have nothing. So we'll let that burn a little bit. We'll add a little bit more paper as the stove's getting to the end of its days. There we go. It's starting to catch a little bit more. Start hearing that roar. You know it's getting oxygen. It's the fire pulling in all the oxygen and fueling itself. Alright. Looks like she's gonna take off. We'll just add a little bit more paper in there so I don't have to worry about it. Starting fires has always been something very relaxing to me. I grew up doing outdoor activities. I was in beavers and scouting, and got a lot of opportunities to learn. And it always surprises me how few people actually know how to start a fire. And there we go, you can see the fire starting to pick up a little bit. And while we're waiting for it to burn, I'm gonna tell a little bit of a story about the Big Dipper, or Ursa Major, the Great Bear. So, the Big Dipper is one of the more prominent and easy to find constellations in the sky, and therefore I picked it as my choice of stories for today. Every constellation has its own story, and this is one of my favorites. So, as you see, the Big Dipper, behind it there are 3 stars that represent the hunter. And those stars, throughout the summer months, you see them following the Great Bear, tracking it, hunting it. And throughout the summer, you see it follow and follow and follow, and it's always behind it. And as you close into this time of year, you notice the leaves changing and all that. And the story behind that is that the hunter, it finally catches up to the Great Bear, and it shoots its arrow, it hits the arrow, and it kills the bear. And its blood falls down and turns all the trees, all the leaves red. And during this time, and throughout the winter, you notice that the Big Dipper is upside down. So that explains both the changing of the leaves and the changing of the direction of the Big Dipper. It's one of my favorite stories about constellations. Alright, so here we are, starting to get going a little bit better. Rearrange a little bit. We're going to close her back up. And we're going to return here in a little bit. We'll check on it. Alright, so it's been about half an hour. Let's check on that fire. Oh yeah, not burning as well as I hoped, but that's okay. I did add a little bit more to it. I'm gonna stick a little bit more in there, and so, like I said, requires a little bit of patience, a little bit of effort, but in the end you get a nice reward. Especially right now, as I'm stoking the sauna. It's one of my favorite ways to unwind at the end of a week. Just hop in the sauna and basically let my worries melt away, if you will. Yeah, I guess add a bit more and then we'll shut her back down and we'll get back to you once it's ready. Alright, here we are. We get to finally enjoy the rewards of our efforts. So, anytime you're starting a fire, it's usually for a reason, whether it's for the sauna like this, or to cook food, or for warmth, or just to enjoy a night around the fire with some friends. It's an awesome skill to have, be able to safely maintain a fire. And when you're doing like an open pit fire, it's good to know that you got to make sure you're always watching it and don't leave it alone and unattended. It just teaches you responsibility as well. So it's a very good skill to have. And like I said, I'm always really surprised when people tell me, "Oh, I've never lit a fire," and I'm like, "Wow, beautiful! I'd love to teach you because it's a great skill to have." You got to remember that people have been surviving from fire for as long as people have been around pretty well. It's one of the first gifts. You gotta think, whenever I'm sitting around a fire, I always think this is one of the very first gifts that one person probably gave to another person. It's something to be able to take care of them, ensure that they have a better life. And that's very important. As people, we need to be able to help each other, or else just never will work. And it's something very important to know. And I'm glad that it was something that I learned at a young age. Well, that's my activity. I think it's. I mean, it was really hard to pick, to be honest. I kind of wanted to get you guys to all do some yoga, and that'll be in the future, I'm hoping. All right, thank you guys. This guy felt left out because my original plan was to take him for a walk, but as it's dark out, you wouldn't see anything. So, thank you very much. And I said walk, so I guess that's what I'm doing now.